The ACU men's basketball team looks to slow down red-hot southeastern Louisiana and establish the playoff picture furthermore. I'm Max Preston.
And I'm Grant Boone. We'll look back at a pair of road wins last week and ahead to the huge home game with big-time tournament implications. This is the Joe Golding Show. Welcome to the Joe Golding Show from the JMC Network studios at Abilene Christian University. I'm Grant Boone alongside ASU journalism major Max Preston and the head coach of the ASU men's basketball team, Joe Golding. 3 weeks left in the regular season and the Wildcats are now 21-5 overall, still alone in second place in the Southland Conference at 10-3, a pair of road wins in impressive fashion last week at Nichols and Incarnate Word. Coach, you get Wednesday off, and then Saturday, you host Southeastern Louisiana in what could well be the game that determines which team gets the 2 seed in the Southland Conference tournament. You told me before the Sam Houston State game that you want to focus on the game, but you also know that these guys read the internet. They know where they stand. How are you approaching this game against Southeastern with your team?
You know what? We've started lately, started last week, of kind of looking at the standings and kind of approaching it of each week, kind of where things stand and where we're at. I think our guys are, they understand what's at stake. You know, we talked to them a lot about getting in the top 4, getting 1 bye, or if you can get the top 2, you get a double bye. And so we've talked to them about it. I think they understand Southeastern. I don't think you can hide it at this point. I think early in the season when you and Max and I were talking, I think it's way too early to discuss standings because there's so much basketball still left to play. But you know, when you turn on TV, when you get home, you see Indiana playing Purdue and North Carolina playing Duke. Rivalry weeks here, you know the season's coming to an end, you know, and so it's probably about time to start looking at the standings. And so, you know, we've done that this last week with our guys. We did it again a little bit yesterday. Just kind of explain to them, you know, New Orleans is playing Southeastern tonight. One of them is going to get to 5, and then we play Southeastern. You know, another big reason for Southeastern being a big game is we would control the tiebreaker with them. Yes. Because we would have beaten them twice, and I think with us in New Orleans, the tiebreaker doesn't count.
Correct.
But Southeastern could be the highest, you know, because they've only played Sam once, too.
Yes.
So, you know, it's an important game, and, you know, I think our guys will be ready.
So after the win over Nichols last week, it's your 20th win of the season. First time since 2008 the team has done that. It's definitely a testament to a successful year so far. What does 20 wins mean to you?
It means a lot to me as a coach because I think when I got this job, I know how hard it was when I was assistant with Jason to do it, and how much work it took to do it, and then to build it through the transition. You know, this transition's been impossible. It's the hardest thing that a bunch of us have ever had to go through, and athletically, not personally, but it's been tough, you know. And you know, just to see the players, you know, I saw Parker Wentz at the Incarnate Word game. I saw Drake at the Lamar game. I got a text from Austin Cook the other day, and or a text thread that Lee DeLeon had sent to me of just how much he meant to us. And I just think when you see that and you remember those guys, those are the guys that started it all. And then Jay Frank and these guys, Jaron, Farquhar, Hayden House, the Rickses, the Trey Lennox, you know, these guys have just carried it on and kind of done it, you know, the hard way. And so I'm just excited for them, Max, to be honest with you, man. I'm not it's a big number for us because I don't think people understand how hard that number is to hit at our level. Mm-hmm. Not many people hit it at our level. And so, you know, I think that's where I take a little pride in that and proud for the university. But I'm just happy for our guys. You know, these guys have been through a lot in 4 years. They've paid their dues, and they deserve everything that's coming to them.
And one of the reasons that you and I have discussed that maybe we're not making more of a deal about 20 wins is that we got to it so early. We've got 5 games left, or 6 games left when you won last week at Nichols, then you won at Incarnate Word, now 21-5 and continuing to roll. A couple of big wins last week on the road. This historic season continues with what we hope are more milestones in the near future. When we come back, we'll look back at those 2 road wins at Nichols and Incarnate Word. This is the Joe Golding Show. Well, last week, the ASU men's basketball team picked itself up and dusted itself off from that emotional double overtime game against Sam Houston State and hit the road for a pair of games away from Moody, beginning with a long trip down to Thibodaux, Louisiana to take on the Nichols Colonels. They had just beaten New Orleans at New Orleans on a buzzer beater. Yet, Coach, you held a team that was averaging 71 points per game to 16 points in the first half. You won wire to wire, 64-48. What, especially in that first half, was your team doing effectively?
Well, I just thought we really guarded well. Definitely guarded on the ball.
Hard to guard,
really well.
too.
And that team's really hard to guard. They scared us on tape, and their guards are really good. And then they don't really have a bad shot, mentality, which is they have a lot of freedom. Is another way of saying that to play. And so those teams are scary because when shots are going in, they might shoot them shots that you're not used to guys shooting sometimes.
And they did, made it.
And those shots go in and it just frustrates you and really opens the floor. So I just thought we did a really good job of guarding the ball and getting off to obviously a really good start on the defensive end. The game was a little slow, a little rugged at first, but we got to a double-digit lead, which anytime you can do that in the first half, that's good on the road.
So Nichols, they wake up offensively a little bit in the second half with 32 points, but you never let them within 13 the entire time. How special is it to see your team play so well defensively on the road?
Yeah, it's great. I think, anytime you can hang your hat, this time of year you watch basketball, like again, mentioning that Indiana-Purdue game. I think the score last night was it 48-47? They went on a tip-in. But that's what basketball is like now. People don't realize, Max, this is we started at the end of September. We're fixing to be in March. I mean, it's getting too long. I mean, we're almost covering over 6.5 months in a basketball season. So it's a long time with each other. It's a long time of it's practices, the games, the travel. Everybody gets kind of edgy right now. Like you say something, and it's just that time of year, and everybody's the grind is set in. Everybody's tired. Fatigue sets in. Absolutely. The travel is hard for us. That's a really hard travel for us. And with Incarnate Word coming on the back end with sing song and everything going on, the flu, and it's just so. I thought defensively, if you're going to win this time of year, you got to be good defensively. And I think we're playing some of our best ball on the defensive end that we've played all year. And so was excited that we were able to go do that at Nichols and backed it up again against Incarnate Word. It might have had something to do with my suit, too.
We've got to talk about this because I go into the locker room before the game for our usual pregame interview, and you're kind of doing this.
That purple shirt.
And I said, nice shirt. You said, yeah. And then what did you tell me?
I really stressed with our team the little things we're going to win on this trip. And I think this time of year, the little things win. And I got on that airplane to fly to New Orleans, and I left my suit on the airplane. And so obviously Coach Golden didn't do a good job of starting the trip, paying attention to the little things. And so I told my team, I said, guys, I screwed this up, and you guys have to have my back because the little things are so important. Here I am. I'm not paying attention to one little thing right here, and I left my suit. So it ended up costing me about $150. I walked 4 miles. I don't even know the name of that store. They didn't have anything that fit me. It was a 36 pant with a 32 waist, which obviously I'm a little bigger than 32 now. I found a nice purple shirt, found some black socks, and we went to put that suit on and went to work. I don't know if I'll wear it again. I want to know in it, but my guys had my back on it, and so again, funny stories on the road, travel, different things happen. You see a lot of it when you're on the road traveling with us. It's that time of year, you're losing your mind on a lot of things. You're trying to stay focused on stuff, but I still have the suit. I might have to break it out later on.
Well, at least you remember to pack a shirt.
Or
like one of your assistant coaches.
Motivate me to lose some weight. Yeah,
one of your assistant coaches, Ted Crass.
Yeah, he had on a great outfit too. That's another side story.
That's for another story.
Yeah.
Back to basketball. One thing I loved: 15 assists, 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
That was really nice. So you win the game big, 64-48. Well, as we discussed earlier, that victory pushed you to the 20-win mark for the first time in a decade, just the second time in the last 20 years. But then you flew home, got up, I think, 4 in the morning on Thursday to fly back so your players could get back to their Thursday afternoon classes. And then you wanted to make sure they could be in their Friday morning classes, so you didn't leave for San Antonio on the bus until Friday afternoon. I was a little concerned about your team's legs. Would there be some fatigue there, long flight, then not a lot of extra sleep? But what do? You come out with a lot of energy against Incarnate Word. You put the defensive clamps down. Again, you win handily. Again, allowing just 48 points, 68-48. You led 27-21 at halftime, thanks in large measure to your large sophomore center, Colton Cole. He gave you 7 points in 7 minutes, including a pair of stick-back dunks, 3 offensive rebounds, 3 out of 4 at the free throw line. Is it overstating it to say that what Colton Cole did changed the game in your team's favor?
No, I don't think there's any question. I think I was so happy for him. He's worked really hard.
He's hurt, too.
He's playing with a little meniscus deal in his knee, and He's just had a rough go, man, from his freshman year. And the kid's just worked, man. I mean, he has worked so hard in the weight room with Coach Decker.
You can't fake that.
No, and you can see his body changing. And every practice, he's just getting better and better and better on the offensive end, and can really help us score the basketball and do some things on it. The Sam game, we put him in there late, and he was able to get the tip and get to the free throw line. And you could see build some confidence. But this time, he had to play extended minutes, and he didn't. I wasn't going to take him out, and he didn't ask to come out. A really cool story behind that is I met with him before the Incarnate Word game, and he was coming through the office, and we got to talking about life outside of basketball and some different things that are going on, and just how he was doing. And Colton doesn't want to be known. This is true, I think, for anybody, but especially Colton. He doesn't want to be known around here as a 7-footer that never gets to play in the game, that just sits over there and claps and waves a towel. He wants to play and be a part of it, cool. And because he stands out so much. And I know he's really worked hard to change that, and he wants to play. And so I told him, I said, Colton, you can help us down the stretch. You could play some important minutes down the stretch for us, especially when we talk about everybody getting tired and fatigue setting in.
Point.
And I said, you could really, really help us offensively. The problem is, I don't know if you can help us defensively. Like, can you guard at this level? Because every time he gets to the game, people just go right to ball screen, and they ball screen him in space. And so I said, can you guard the ball screen?
Meaning he's got to go out onto the perimeter.
And I said, we've seen you do it in practice, but can you do it consistently? Because if you can, I can play you, and you can help us. And he looked me straight in the eye and said, you give me a chance. And it's the first time Colton's ever really stepped out of his boundary maybe a little bit and looked me straight in the eye and said, Coach, you give me a chance. And I said, you know what, Colton, I will. Wow. I said, I don't know if Saturday will be that chance, but I said, I will give you a chance. And sure enough, we gave it to him on Saturday, and you could just all credit to him. I mean, he's been working extremely hard. He comes in for individuals every day, and he deserved that the other night. And you could tell the bench how excited they were for him.
They went nuts.
That tells you that they care about Colton, and they're excited for Colton. And
he's not a mascot.
And he cheers for him, and a kid that doesn't play a whole lot. He's a great teammate. He works hard in practice. He makes other guys better. He doesn't pout. He doesn't sit on the bench and talk about why he's not. But I'm sure he wants to play, and like all guys. Sure. But he doesn't become a problem, and he works hard every day, and he comes to work with a smile on his face. He's had a great semester academically. I think he's got a girlfriend now. Hopefully he does before the show airs. Sometimes on college campuses, that's, you can break up pretty quick. But I just think his life is really good. Yeah. He just wants to contribute on the basketball court, and he got the opportunity. Anytime a kid gets the opportunity and they make the most of it. So I was very, very happy for Colton, very proud of him, and I think there's no question he changed the game right there in the end of the first half.
Moving forward, do you think you use him a little more and give him more minutes after this game?
I think we continue to play him. We'll see, how it plays. And again, he's got to continue to prove when he gets those minutes, good things can happen. But I really like what he gives us on the offensive floor, and people are really fronting us and doing some things, and we can throw over the top with Colton. I think that he could play and see some minutes in his future. It's just tough there. That's a spot that we got a lot of. We have probably one too many bigs, and we're lucky that Hayden Howe. Not lucky, I'm not happy.
You'll be lucky next year.
We're going to be lucky next year that we were able to do it. And Farquhar's a senior, so you want to play seniors this type of year because they're used to the grind. Where freshmen and sophomores kind of aren't. They're used to their season being over by now. So you got Farquhar there, you got Jaron there, you got Jelani there, you got Joe's been playing well, but I think Colton can find some minutes in there for sure, and I think he can give us a big, momentum down the stretch in that position.
2 more road wins. Really impressive. Your team continues to rack them up. You got 11 wins at home. You got 10 wins away from Moody. That's a lot.
It's been a really special year.
There were years when 10 wins was like a season.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now 10 on a row, that's impressive. So ACU wins it by a score of 68-48. A pair of road wins allowing just 48 points in both. A little bit later on in the show, we will preview the big matchup on Saturday night against Southeastern Louisiana. Stay with us. This is the Joe Golding Show. Just one game for the ASU men's basketball team this week. The Wildcats with Wednesday off before the final 5 games of the conference season. 3 at home, 2 on the road. Coach, how have you and your team and your coaching staff used this last break of the season?
Yeah, so we took off Sunday and Monday, let our guys get back here, use Sunday as a complete day off, and then obviously Monday get back to class and get back to a regular schedule. And then they obviously had some makeup work to do, and some tests that they had to take. That's one thing that we're not allowed to take tests on the road because we usually don't have anybody to proctor them in case Dr. Stewart comes with us. So they either have to take their test before or right when they get back. So usually that day you get back, you have a lot of guys doing some stuff like that. So, and then our staff went out and recruited. We spread it out across and did some recruiting. So that's obviously important this time of year. You got high schools coming to an end with playoffs, teams losing, and then JUCO seasons coming to an end with their regional playoffs. So we're just trying to identify the players that we really like, the players that we really want, and the bye week kind of gives you a time to get out and go see those guys face to face instead of on the phone. So. We prioritize on some different ways that we try to do that, and then we try to get out on the road. I came back a day early, just to be honest with you. I was kind of fatigued myself, and I just wanted to get back and get some rest, spend some time. I got to see Chase play basketball on Tuesday night, and so I've seen him play once all year, and got a little work to do with Chase, but we lost a tough battle 10-9, but
defense,
yeah,
defense wins this time of year.
Defense, that's right, we did guard, man, and but then we practiced yesterday and got back to lifting, and then we'll get back today being Wednesday. We'll get back started full practice and introduce Southeastern again and get ready to go.
Yep, so you welcome Southeastern Louisiana this Saturday. Last game was a buzzer beater finish, and you guys steal the win. But coming into this game, they're winners of 9 of their last 10. Can we expect another close finish in this game?
Yeah, you would think. I would think anytime us and Southeastern go at it, it's been kind of a game that goes to the last 4 minutes. There's been a few games that have gotten away a little bit. They've beaten us here. I know they did last year. I don't know if it was the year before as well. It's a tough matchup for us. We're very familiar with each other. The Greenwood, Charleston, and Ville have been on their squad for a long time, just like Jay Frank, Jaron, and Farquhar and Ricks and our guys. We've kind of grown up with them a little bit. They obviously had a special year last year and made it to the conference tournament, to the championship game against SFA, and was right there till the very end. They didn't get off to a very good non-conference start, very tough schedule, and then conference play, they got popped 3 times, and there was a stretch there. They lost like 6 out of 7 games in the last possession or two. Just things weren't going right. And so it's really a credit to those seniors. It's a credit to Coach Ladner for those guys and what they've been able to do to turn that program and get it back going in the right direction.
You called it, by the way.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they were going to win games. I knew that wasn't going to last. I knew they would be at the mix at the end of the year, and I think they'll be in the mix in Katy. I think they'll be one of the teams that can win this thing. It doesn't surprise me a bit. Anytime you have Ville, who many consider the best player in the league, and probably has every right to be the best player of the league, player of the year in the Southland Conference, and then you've got Greenwood and Charleston, who are 2 of the premier frontline guys. You got a chance to beat anybody, whether it's home or on the road. And then they got good pieces. Last year, I was thinking about they had really good pieces around those guys, and then this year was getting those pieces and figuring them out. Their point guards played really well lately. Number 10, the Julian kid, the Gonzalez kid's shooting the ball well. And then they've got 2 bigs. One big that actually didn't play a lot against us early is playing a lot now. And so they're starting to figure it out and figure out how their pieces work. And so I would expect nothing different, Max, than a game kind of Southland Conference down the stretch. And I think both teams know that there's a lot on the line.
And both teams know each other very well.
Yeah,
these guys have been playing each other for a long time.
Yeah.
One final thought. I hate to even bring this up because of what it means, but barring something unforeseen, ASU fans have only 3 more chances to see Jalen Franklin, Jaron Lewis, and Hayden Farquhar play basketball game at Moody Coliseum. And wouldn't it be great, Coach, to see Wildcat fans reward them with a big crowd on Saturday?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about this, you and I, off the air. We've talked a little bit about it on the air. Like, if we're going to have a basketball program at Abilene Christian, you got to have support. You have to. There's no other way to build it. Any teams at our level that have success in their programs, they have support. They have support from their administration, they have support from their student body, and they have support from their faculty. And I think you saw a glimpse of what that could look like against Sam. And what we have to do is continue to build on that, and we need the students. We don't just want the students, we need the students. We need the energy. I mean, our guys, I'm not making excuses. We don't make excuses, but I think our guys came out at the Sam game and saw us, and we're like, a little bit of like, but wouldn't it be neat if that's the way it was, And you go back to the first couple of football games every year, the energy is always really good, and then the energy dies down, And basketball, we've never been able to. It's a tough sport because you have the fall season where you don't play a whole lot at home. Then you have a month and a half Christmas break. So
then
no
sing-song.
And then you have sing-song, and so there's just a lot going on. And I get it, man. I know our students are busy. I know they're tired, but we just really appreciate their support, and it makes a huge difference. We don't make that comeback against Sam if it wasn't for that crowd, And we had a chance to win the game because of the crowd. There's no question. And these three guys deserve it. Not just that, these three guys deserve it, man. They deserve good crowds down the stretch. I mean, you think about our 3 home games: Southeastern, which is going to be a huge game Saturday; SFA, which has been the bully, in a nice way.
That's a Tuesday night.
For the last 4 or 5 years we've been in the league, and they beat up on us a ton, and obviously a tough loss for us at their place early in the year. And then Incarnate Word, kind of the rivalry game and the senior day to end it. So 3 great home games left. I would, again, to continue to support, bring a friend. We just got to continue to grow the crowds and can continue to build this program.
If these games are going to keep coming down to 1 possession, 2 possessions, anything that could push you over the top, big crowd, you never know. That could be the difference.
And we're talking to our guys about loose balls, hustle plays, taking a charge, and offensive rebound, the little things. And it's the same thing with the crowd being able to, it was so loud in there the other night you can't hear, So it helps.
It'll be a big one on Saturday afternoon. It's a 3:30 tip. It follows the women's game at 1. Both games will be broadcast on ESPN3 as well as on radio 98.1 FM The Ticket. For Max and for the coach, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching The Joe Golding Show. We'll see you at Moody on Saturday and see you right back here next week.